Good afternoon, folks. This is Matt Trahan, Director of Athletics at Old Colony, with the Big Bedford Buck over at Bedford High School, Keith Mangan, with your MSSADA podcast. Keith, good afternoon. How you doing?
I am great, Matt. How are you today after this nice long weekend?
Fantastic. The long weekend was great.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, you see the sign up there. You see the logo, Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise. If you're not partnering with Gold Athletics, what are you waiting for? They are the premium fundraising company across the country. They are absolutely fantastic. Give them a shout. They'll take care of all your needs. Gold Athletics. Back to the weekend, my friend.
Back to the weekend. What happened in the Trahan house this weekend?
A lot of different things. I've got one 26-year-old who's left the homestead. She's moved on and flew out over the weekend, and then got a couple other things going on with the younger ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll be moving some bedrooms and some spaces and stuff. So they keep us busy. I'm sure you're the same.
That doesn't mean that you're going to end up with a man town out of this or something like that.
I'm trying. Hey, I'm trying. No joke.
Yeah.
I need a man town.
I was going to say that would be perfect, I would think.
Yeah.
But I know, like, at one point I had a man town at my house, and then once the kids came along, it quickly turned into family land. So then that was out, and haven't tried to regrasp take that back over, and I don't know that I will, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you need to just do it. You know what I mean? You are Mufasa. You're the king of your kingdom.
Yeah, well, that could be debated.
Well,
but I will tell you though, this weekend was great up in the Mangan house. My oldest was home for his first time since we moved him into college.
Nice.
So he flew in Friday night. We dropped him back off at Logan last night. So it was great to have him. Great to have him in the house and see his face for a little while.
Oh yeah,
isn't
it strange though? I think we can all kind of relate. Is that you got somebody, you got a child, and they've been with you from day one.
Yep.
And they you want the best for them. They fly the coop. They go out to college, or they go on with their lives, and you go, oh man, when are they coming back? When are they coming back? Right? Like it's like separation anxiety. I think it's just as bad for us as parents as it is for them.
Oh, absolutely. What goes without saying. So we'll see him back at Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And then he was quick to inform us how he had 5 weeks off for winter break. So
nice.
I said, well, what we're going to do for work while you're home for that for those 5 weeks.
Oh, he's going to be lounging. He's going to be lounging.
Maybe he'll be coming over and running the clock for me a little bit.
There you go. Well, Mantown. He'll be hanging out in Mantown.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So Keith,
but other than that, man, we're rocking and rolling here, and we're winding down. Got two weeks left in the regular season here for the fall.
So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, for all of us, I mean, and I know that we've brought this up about, expectations and new athletic directors and whatnot, what they should expect. You're going to wind down the fall and quickly wind up the winter, right? So for those of you who are football folks, some of your other seasons will end, and then you'll only have football for a brief period of time. And then from there, it's right into the winter season. So there's really no reprieve.
We're I saw those power rankings come out today, and I was going back and looking at those, and where are we looking for a potential home game? And although it's still a fair amount of time left to go here before we know exactly what's what. But right, it looks like right now we'll have a couple home games anyway for a couple different sports, and couple teams who are teetering on the edge, as they say, whether or not that they'll make it in or not. So we got some just outside that top 32.
Yep. I'm in the same boat as well.
Yeah.
It's always interesting at this time of the year. We just try to start crunching numbers, and you've got coaches who may or may not think that they have a bead on where they're going to fall, and all it takes is a game or two, and everything kind of changes. So, what's your thought process, Keith, on realignments? So we're now in that process where that's come out, and I know a multitude of people have are filing waivers and really trying to fight for their program in their school.
So it's interesting you say that. So for the first time since this new process came out, I actually filled out a couple of requests to move in the realignment cycle. The last one I thought made sense for where we were in the school we're at. And then it's tough because it's like, we were at the top of one division, then kind of moved up into another one. Population wise, we're still relatively the same, dropping down a little bit over the next couple of years, but we've had this conversation in the past where our military population that we have here at Bedford High School is not one of those factors that comes into play when they're looking at those different numbers that they look at as far as, those alignment numbers where the Voc schools might, pop down a little bit and the private schools pop up a division or whatever that case may be. But there really isn't one for us. So it's, I put out there, I appealed for some and got denied in all in the initial round, I guess. And then there was an appeal process for that. So we'll see what happens.
Everything changes, right? It's different. But I think, I think for most of us, we have to embrace change and try to, make it work for us. Yeah. Speaking of changes, for a little bit there, there was a change with us in regard to the podcast because we hadn't had the opportunity to go live. Yeah. Right. So as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm on my phone and boom, there it is. We're now verified on X and we're live. I see that we've got some viewers. Yeah. So to me, like, I find it interesting. that, what do they say? Money talks. I mean, you got to spend to get the word out. Yeah. And again, right. So think about this. You've got a platform that was kind of doing everything for you. And now there's a monetary value to that. Right. So, I mean, who's making that money? The guy who bought X.
Well, listen, that's why he's able to, take care and kept make that robot arm that caught the rocket coming out of the sky, which is
isn't that amazing. Wild? Isn't that wild? Yeah. There's a lot of there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I will say this, I love this platform. I think that, being able to, reach out and talk about certain things with some of our ADs. I also think that, you and I talked about some changes. And I think one of those changes that we could discuss would be to have this, maybe in between seasons at night, right? So now you have the opportunity where ADs are maybe off for a little bit and have a little bit more time to engage and get in on that comment section and whatnot. I think that, what we're doing is been well received. Folks are pretty happy about it. Yeah. One of my favorite episodes, though, is always when we're at the national conference. I thought last year's was fantastic. This is always, fun too.
I think last year was our best that we've done. We were at the last minute. We were bouncing around looking for some different places. Nashville was kind of tough. We finally found a hallway, but last year I think it worked out pretty well. Right in that main conference room. And as people were coming by and kind of engaging, as we went, we had some folks. I remember the two ADs right to the left of us from Pennsylvania outside the Pittsburgh area, and they were kind of chatting and stuff like that as we were going and stuff as well. So looking forward to doing that down in Austin. It's right around the corner. We have 2 months from now, we'll be live from Austin. Doing this podcast down there. So looking forward to that. That's pretty cool. This is my first time visiting there.
Same.
So it should be great.
I think I'm gonna buy a cowboy hat down there.
Really?
Yep. True grit. I think I'm gonna buy a cowboy hat. I will say this though. If I buy the cowboy hat, you can't buy one. All right, we can share it, but we can't both wear it together because that would just be. I don't want to get into details. I don't want to get into past movies. I don't want to get into any of that stuff. But I just don't know that would be.
So I appreciate you not doing that. I wasn't going to go there, but thank you for dangling that out.
You saw what I was putting down there. You saw what I was putting down.
Yeah. So we won't. Done. Sold. We'll make sure that won't happen. But oh God, you got me there.
Yes, I did.
But I know we're heading out Friday. Friday to Monday. It's a little tough this year. I know your schedule with your coaching as well is always a challenge. My games start on that Tuesday night. So for me, I want to make sure I'm back to be here and to make sure everything's going smoothly. I might end up having a game while we're away, but we'll see how that goes with the final countdown here with scheduling as it goes.
Yep. No, it's all good. It's all good, and I look forward to it. What I also look forward to is when we have special guests, right? Yes. I say that in a way that we have one of the most special guests, who's going to join us.
Big time.
Yeah, he's big time. He's, it's like 007. How would I say this? 007 meets. Give me something here. Give me something. Whoa. Yeah, he's just, when he speaks, people listen. Yeah, he might be like the Dos Equis guy. It's 007 and Dos Equis. He's probably one of the most interesting
the most interesting man alive. That guy. You know what I mean? A little salt and pepper too, I think.
Oh man, listen, he'll bring some stability to this podcast as we speak. Let's bring him in. The president of Mssada, Mr. Jim Quattromoni.
Yeah, there he is. Also known as El Jefe.
El Jefe.
El Presidente.
How are we doing?
I'm good, thank you. Quite an introduction there.
As I said,
that, were you?
You are smooth, Mr. Quattromoni. Smooth. Our ratings just went up.
Look at that, just like that.
Just like that.
You entered the room and viewership went skyrocketed right away.
It's unbelievable. So, so Jim, let's talk a little bit about. You've been on the job for a while now. Tell us how the presidency's going for you.
It's great. I mean, there's a great team in place. There are some folks like Keith and Tanya that have got some institutional knowledge, and Ann, and yourself. So it's I feel like I have a lot of people that are in place, making sure that I don't mess things up here, which is comforting. And then it's exciting at the same time to be able to look ahead to the opportunity of our 50th conference and the things that will come with that and celebrating the association. I think some of the things we've talked about doing in terms of addressing turnover and trying to help younger ADs, feel more confident and so that they get their legs under them to have a longer career, I think are things that will be exciting to work through this year. There've been great conversations. So as I tell younger ADs all the time, you get better when you're around people that have been doing this for a while. And so I think it's always valuable to do that and, to be able to do it while you're working for the association. I think, you get your eye on that idea of, leaving the world a better place than you found it. So that's the hope.
Absolutely. I think we all, I could definitely pinpoint one or two. I think we've all had pretty good mentors over the years in that, the simple fact is that it's not a 9 to 5. You're not punching a clock. It's you have to live it, and you have to wear it, and it has to be a big part of your DNA. And I think that for those that do that, those are the ones that, they find themselves in a better place, and they leave their school in a better place, to your point.
Well, right.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those.
No one does what we do, right? So no one in the school system. Maybe the high school principal has a taste. Obviously theirs is a little different, but the hours that are spent, the organizing the people and the events day to day, and how something could change at any given moment and turn your world upside down. You got to be able to jump on it and get things handled, right? So in the school system, it's us and probably the high school principal. I don't even know if I'd say, maybe some elementary school principals might disagree with me, but I think just the consistency of the day-to-day of the amount of things that are happening and the changes and the communication with people, with parents, with kids, all that interaction is it's not like any other. Right.
Very true.
Yeah.
Jim, you
definitely not a 9 to 5.
No, definitely not. Jim, you referenced the 50th. Tell us a little bit. We obviously certainly have been on the committee with you, and we know, but tell some of the viewers, like, this is a big deal. This is something that if you've been in the conference, it's going to feel and look a lot different.
Definitely. It's a big number, nice round number. I think we've all worked on selecting the appropriate logo to recognize the moment. But I think it's an opportunity. I think to look back I think, and to all of the folks that have worked for Mssada to help get the group to where it is today with the program that it's running and with the recognition that it provides and the professional development and the mentoring, things that, if you raise your hand, if you need something, you're going to find it with this group. And I think that, 50 and looking back really puts a cap on that we're in this together. As you guys mentioned, we're probably the only collection of people that truly understand what we do, and to be able to wrap ourselves around others that are up and coming, and then, appreciate and respect those that came before us for what they did to get us here. I think it's just a wonderful combination. And I agree with you. I think we're going to have some fun down at the Cape for this 50th.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's always a great time, and I know when Nat was asking you earlier, Jim, about what it's like being the president right now, I found that I think my year when I served as president was actually easier than the years leading up to it.
Definitely it's definitely easier than that first vice president year.
Yeah. For the people don't know out that are listening in there and looking to get involved, that first vice president position is the one who, along with our conference coordinator, Mike Denise, who does a great work down at the conference and leading up to that first vice president position is one that does all like the schedule and works and make sure we have the speakers and the everything's filled in there and works very closely with Mike to make sure that we have stuff planned throughout the entire event. And that's kind of a big deal.
And, to go back to that, to our team, I think Mike Denise and Kara Ellis helped with the LTC and with the conference in that first vice president spot to really make sure that you have what you need. You just need to get it all together and coordinate. So,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those folks do a great job. I think, I really do think it's a cohesive unit. The team, really, does a great job putting it all together. And in the end, the product is fantastic. I think, over the years, it's just gotten better and better. And I'm really looking forward to what March brings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's going to be great. I think it's like I can't wait for it to get there, but it's a long way away.
Yes.
In terms of what's happening. Absolutely.
Yep. We got a couple of folks that we're hoping to connect with down in Austin. Dr. Cave was one. We're also trying to hook up with a few others. Jim, is there anybody in particular that you can think of that we should have on the podcast at the National?
It might seem fitting if he is going, since you started this podcast under his watch, to have Fran Whitten.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I mean, he's been around a while. I mean, we could celebrate 50 years. Sure.
Yeah, we've actually done. We did that. Even if he's not there, I know he usually comes down for a little bit, but him being a new grandfather now as well. I don't know how much that news has been out there, but but we did do a couple of years ago at the national conference when you guys were in Colorado. You and Fran were out there, and I was back here, and we did that. And we, kind of like what we do now. As long as we make sure we have a good Wi-Fi signal. I think we were struggling with that a little bit, but for the most part now, most of those places have all been fixed.
Mobile hotspot's key. I've learned my lesson. Mobile hotspot is a problem solver. So
okay, does that mean I'm getting another bill for something else this week? Okay,
that's a personal expense. Okay. So I actually had another question. So Jim, it was brought to our attention, and this is for the younger ADs or even people who may not know. We're all tied in, and again, social media is vast. There's so much out there, but in particular, I think ADs need to be very mindful of what's going on TikTok and X and whatever else. I know it was brought up at our meeting to kind of have your radar up in relation to the recent TikTok video that some of us happen to be dealing with handshakes after certain games. So as the president, I obviously know your stance, but why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, it seems like TikTok is taking us in all sorts of different directions that you really couldn't even make up if you sat down and tried.
Right.
And I really think that the kids need to be mindful of what we're doing when we're participating in interscholastic athletics. We're not doing this to show somebody else up or make them a spectacle or an object of, to laugh at. It's to compete, and being mindful of sportsmanship throughout. I tell our teams a lot that, an opponent is a gift. Practice is great. If you're a hardworking team, it's going to be fun to practice. You're going to work, get out of your comfort zone. But when you see a team with different colored jerseys rolling in, that's going to have you go to that next level. And it's going to bring you to a place that maybe you can't bring yourself without that opponent. And so that, that should be respected and appreciated and not mocked. And, for a 15-second video clip, I can't wrap my head around it. I mean, it's, we've been fortunate, I think, that some of this stuff has not trickled over to us yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And, just try to be, I try to keep enough young people around me that I'm not caught off guard by this stuff.
Same.
But again, when you talk about the team or us being together as a collection, even if it's outside of Mssada, the more people that you're connected to, the more likely you are to hear about this stuff maybe before there's a first time.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's funny that the point that you just made up about having the young people around to help you with that. I remember when we first started using Twitter, that it was, I pulled a couple students in out of the hallway and I said, hey, listen, show me this. How do I do that? How do I use this? How do I use this so I don't make myself look like an idiot here? The hashtag is a pound. I'm dating myself now as well. So, and I had two students literally sit down. They're like, Mr. Manning, do this, don't do this, and stuff like that, which was a huge help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I keep it strictly to one. I mean, all of the accounts through some of those platforms like Gipper, they all attach to the Facebook and the whatever else. But on the phone, I've limited it right down to Twitter, because you get inundated with so much stuff, and who knows what's real, what isn't real, and some of the other stuff like Jim said is for a 15-second clip. And I don't think that we're in the business of creating these clips. I think to his point again, it's a gift. Right. The games are a gift, and you want that to be a positive memory, not a,
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Crazy stuff.
So much of what we do, or some of the stuff, the negative stuff that we have to deal with as athletic directors, is that reactionary stuff to, as much as we try and set those guidelines or those expectations for our students, or parents, or whatever, the fans that come to the games, how quickly one person's actions, right, can make a Monday from hell, or a couple days leading up to Monday from hell as well, dealing with that stuff over the weekend as well. So, you hope that people are making good decisions out there, but then again, some of the times we're relying on teenagers always to do, what we do, and all three of us being parents as well. I think that's, you can only you hope and pray that all those lessons that are taught are go into fruition once they walk out the door, but you can only hope and pray, I guess.
So, Jim, we opened up this today about the weekend. Nice to have that long weekend. Obviously, I talked to Keith a little bit. How was your weekend?
We actually had homecoming this weekend. We sandwiched it around the Jewish holiday. We had Thursday volleyball and football, Friday and Saturday off, and then we had field hockey, boys soccer, girls soccer on Sunday.
Awesome.
We have a huge table celebration where all the teams and clubs are selling gear and fundraising, and it's a really good day in Hingham.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's
So
great.
business as usual. You probably didn't get a chance to sleep in a little bit, or
not on Sunday. No.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
No, it definitely seemed like it was a long weekend, as we were saying before. That it was. We played football on Thursday night as well. The opponent that hosted us didn't have school on Friday, so it was, we didn't have anything then again until we had a sub-varsity football game yesterday at 10 o'clock, which we usually try and play on Saturday so we can get in that next week. But making up for it today, where we have, I think I have 6 soccer games plus 3 volleyball matches here today. So that'll be a nice, wonderful day today.
Right back in.
Yeah. That's okay though. That's okay.
we appreciate both your time
Yep.
and being with us today. It's always great to get together and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of Massachusetts sports. I know we talked a little bit about power ratings and winding down the season and the tournaments. Jim, we're very fortunate to have you because you also serve as a tournament director. What do you see coming down the road? We just kind of want to wrap with that. Like, what do you see coming down the road in the end? Because we've got now 3 years of data. I know that we're back in an alignment cycle. Do you see any potential changes? Do you see anything that may be a little different than what we see now?
I don't see anything imminent right now. I'm hopeful, as I've said in the past, that that we're continuing to pursue some separator other than the margin of victory.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do see that sport committees are talking to TMC about, if that's still there, maybe being more thoughtful about what the number is. And I don't mean to say that the TMC was not thoughtful. I know that the numbers they selected were more data driven in terms of the margins that they selected. But, as you saw with the lacrosse committee, they didn't exactly agree with the data. And those are the folks on the ground that are, giving the bulk of their time and energy to lacrosse. So I hope, again, if I were to order what I maybe see happening or what I hope will happen is that, the margin will continue to be evaluated and potentially replaced. And if not, that we're having regular conversations about what that max margin looks like.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interesting. Great point. And thank you, Jim, for that. I know I was just looking at the rankings right before we got started here, and one of our teams, following a win, actually went down, which was kind of interesting as well. But all those things, I wouldn't be a self-proclaimed math guy at all by any means, but it's interesting to see that and then trying to explain to people, why that is that happens. But So listen, I know that we're going to end there, but I got one last question just kind of popped in here a little bit as well. So we probably won't be on, or maybe we'll be on again on our podcast beforehand, but we got big holiday coming up in Halloween. All right. So let me pose this question to both of you. What is your go-to Halloween candy? That if there's any option, you have no, the sky's the limit. What's your go-to Halloween
I defer to the Mr. President. You go first.
It popped right into my head. I think I'm going to have to go with it. I don't usually get into the candy, but if there's a Twix sitting there, I'm going for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I like that. Listen, I like the Twix. You get a little crunch. I like that. If I had to choose it, that would be in my top 3. But for me, it's always Reese's Cups. I don't know what it is. I love a good Reese's Cup.
Yeah, and I would say the same. Reese's peanut without question.
You guys are both Reese's Cups.
Yeah.
For me, traditional or Reese's Pieces, I love as well. But not the newfangled ones, the dark chocolate or the stuff mixed in the middle. Good old traditional.
The old traditional. Yeah.
Oh,
There's a reason why those wrappers are orange too. You know that, right? Because it's a Halloween candy.
Okay.
So
well, there you go.
There it is. Jim, we appreciate your time. Obviously joining us. And we meant what we said, first class guy all the way. And certainly doing one heck of a job serving as our president of the association. I want to thank you for joining us. Also want to tell everybody, be on the lookout if you haven't registered for the MIA Sportsmanship Summit on the 7th of November. Please do so. That room's filling up fast. I would talk to Peter Smith. And then for those of you who are looking for a fundraising company, look no further. Gold Athletics is the premium fundraising company across the board. They're a non-miss. You can't miss them. They're fantastic in everything that they do, and we appreciate their partnership with our association as well. So
absolutely. One last pitch here as well, Matt. I keep pitching here. 502 is out there as well. So
yes,
ADs, if you're listening, if you have not taken LTC 502, registration is open. Tanya sent out an email out to everyone. We got a few people registered already, so saw that came over today. So if you're interested, and get on there, and that's a free class if you're a member of the association as well.
And to that point, Keith, if you're an aspiring AD or you're somebody who's somebody who works within the building who may have a little bit of a background, I know there's a complimentary rate to come down to the conference and take some courses. So please check out our website, and we encourage you to attend. All right, gentlemen, it's a pleasure getting together with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.